welcome to the first official video on FTN News. You guys might know me as Nini FC from Blue Lines TV, but secretly behind the scenes, I've been working on a project to kickstart a new channel that allows me to discuss all the latest Premier League transfer news. Today, I'm here to give you guys a recap on all the massive stories that's come out this Sunday, so I hope you guys are with me on this journey, man. Hit that like button, of course, share your feedback. I always love constructive criticism, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel too. So, hope you guys enjoy, and let's recap today's massive reports. Now for the first story, the big story today. Liverpool agreeing a fixed fee deal with Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike. Now, being a Chelsea fan, I can't lie, this one stings a little bit, but since we've secured Joao Pedro, I kind of feel like this is a deal that we can maybe live without, even though we spent the first half of this window trying to tie Ekitike down. Anyway, today, Liverpool have agreed a 69 million fixed fee, which could rise up to 78 million with add-ons. This matches Frankfurt's 90 mil euro package they were hoping to get this entire time. They reduced that from 100 million down to 90 million. Now, Ekitike has been like one of the most in-demand players this entire window. Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, Newcastle currently tried to actually partner him alongside Alexander Isak, but in the end, Liverpool got their man, and I've kind of known for a long time that Liverpool had an incredibly strong chance at securing this move. Arne Slot is building a beast next season with Liverpool. Florian Wirtz, Frimpong, signing some of the Bundesliga's best, most clearest talents. Now, Liverpool did try and sign Isak, but they got put off due to Newcastle's incredible 150 million valuation, which is way too high. But in signing Ekitike at 23 years old, 22 goals in 40 appearances last season, I personally think this is probably the most complimentary signing Liverpool can make. I was a bit surprised by the reaction to this news. It doesn't seem like too many people are onto what Ekkit is about. So let me try and familiarize you guys into what his game is actually saying. Now, Hugo, this guy is a very unique football player. His profile, his height. I think the thing that I've always been enamored by with this game has forever been how he can create things from nothing. Remember Luis Suarez, the attempts he would take outside the box, 30 yards, 40 yards. He'd constantly surprised the opposition with how audacious he was willing to be to try and fashion something for his team. For me, that's forever been the hallmark of the truly exceptional player. Not just good or great, but exceptional player. And Ekitike is very unpredictable and hard to read. Not only can he shield the ball with his big frame, the guy is superb at finding his teammates, and it's those qualities that really complement what Arne Slot would expect from him. If you've got Salah, if you're going to reinforce down the left flank, when you're combining with Florian Wirtz, he was absolutely sensational with his partnership with Victor Boniface, yeah. Ekitike being that mobile forward that can play across the front lines, that can drop deep, bring others into the game, makes Liverpool a bit of a, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, scary team for next season, and an incredibly difficult, powerful, exciting, technical, offensive, attacking quartet that's going to be incredibly difficult for most Prem teams to cope against for next season. Liverpool aren't playing around at all this summer. They're going for the jugular. I think there's a lot of context behind why, and I'll discuss that in the latest reports today. But I do think in Ekitike, he is the perfect striker that complements what Arne Slot wants from a striker. Presses aggressively, skill, can lead the transition, pace, and of course, finishing ability. Listen, he's not as clinical just yet, but don't think that this guy needs 6 chances to score a goal. Not at all. He's a lot more clinical than given credit for. And I think playing with a better caliber of player around him, I think that's going to unlock even more to his game. And I think Liverpool have, done some sensational business here, which complements everything they're doing at the moment. Ekitike has signed a 6-year deal, and it does seem like he will be at the cornerstone of Liverpool for the next half decades at least. So what you guys thinking about Ekitike signing for Liverpool? How are you feeling about things? Share your thoughts and opinions. But right now, my friends, we continue on to discuss more Liverpool news. And we discuss a surprising story that's been developing. And that involves Rodrygo. Now, Liverpool fans have known for a minute, Rodrygo, he is the dream left winger you guys are hoping to secure now. Now, in terms of getting ready for a potential move for him, it seems like Liverpool are kind of putting in the groundworks at the moment right now. We know that Chiesa is currently set to leave Liverpool as he wants to return back to Serie A, but at the same time as well, he's not been getting consistent minutes last season. Alongside that, Liverpool are also hoping to try to engineer a sale of Luis Diaz. Bayern Munich are trying to make an offer. Liverpool have asked for 100 million at the moment, which might be too high. In the meantime, Bayern have been holding preliminary talks with Malik Fofana of Lyon. If they can't engineer a Diaz move, they're going to sign Fofana instead. So Liverpool have to play a bit of a balancing act right now to ensure that they're not pricing out probably the best team that could probably take Diaz from them in Bayern Munich. However, the news today from Romano reveals that Diaz is not part of the squad for the friendly today, but is regularly included in the squad for the pre-season tour. So it does seem like Liverpool aren't forcing him out in case maybe they aren't able to materialize a move for like the top class left wing target that they want. And listen, I still personally believe that Diaz is clear. He's still very good. I get the standard at Liverpool is very high right now, but never take for granted a player that can get double digits for goals and assists, especially when in the market right now, you probably couldn't even name 10 left wingers that have that type of ability to their game. So let's see what happens there. But in the meantime, Liverpool are getting ready for Rodrygo. And this is the reports coming out from France, from L'Equipe, most notably. They're convinced that Rodrygo is likely to replace Luis Diaz if Diaz can leave. That is what everyone is relying upon to happen right now. Hopefully it doesn't. But at the meantime, Rodrygo is probably set to leave Real Madrid. He hasn't started any game at the Club World Cup. Xabi Alonso's kind of contradicted his use of Rodrygo, especially when Goulet and many other talents are getting game time ahead of them. And I just feel like right now it's best for Rodrygo's career to move from Real Madrid, to find a position to safeguard himself in. I've regularly made this comparison. I feel like Rodrygo is kind of like the Willian of Real Madrid, in the sense that when Eden Hazard was the star at Chelsea, Willian played the supportive role to just complement the rest of the team to bring that balance right. But Rodrygo, for me, is one of the premium attacking players in the world. His last 12 months has been pretty poor by his standards. But I think it's more to do with a lack of faith, a lack of trust in the club, being played out of position a bit too much. And I think with the talent he has at 24 years old, you must make a decision. Do you want to continue to just enjoy your life at Madrid, be happy with your friends, and never excel in your career? Or are you ready right now to go on to the next level and become that talisman elsewhere? Do what's best for your career. Listen, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'll tell you guys straight, he'd be my dream guy right now in the market to try and sign. And fingers crossed something can happen here. That's what I'm hoping for. But Liverpool right now, they are not playing whatsoever. And for them, this is kind of like revenge after missing out on 1 million targets of Real Madrid. Mbappe, Bellingham, Tchouameni. So signing Rodrygo could kind of flip the scripts in that sense. There is fierce competition, but there's probably an opportunity here for Liverpool because they're one of the few clubs that could satisfy the 100 mil euro fee that Madrid are hoping to get for his sale. So Rodrygo will be one of the most fascinating deals before this window ends. And you can imagine, once it's official that he could be out this door, millions of clubs will come in and try and make their moves. So let's continue to watch the space around him, you guys. Really big, exciting things happening with him. But right now, let's discuss one of the big breaking stories emerging this evening. And Galatasaray are closing in on a deal to sign Victor Osimhen. It's been a long time in the making. But realistically, Galatasaray have been the main favourites because they're the only club that can satisfy the wage packet that Osimhen, in my opinion, I think he kind of deserves, to be fair with you. Now, I think Napoli were insane to give him this type of money to begin with. And once you have money like that, you can't go back, You're used to a new lifestyle. And, we got to give some grace to these football players, right? It's not just about lifestyle for yourself. You're Osimhen. You're basically a company. You're a business. You're funding many people, many people's jobs, salaries, careers. There's a lot of responsibility behind you right now. Your money's in a lot of ventures and a lot of investments. Don't just imagine that he's got tens of millions in his account doing nothing. No, I think this explains for me why Osimhen has been very adamant that he needs to maintain the same salary that he's currently on. Anyway, we've learned today from Romano, Galatasaray are closing in. And it's kind of insane because Victor's deal expires next year, right? But they've set to agree an 80 mil euro move. That's going to be 40 million immediately in one payment, 35 million next year, 5 million in add-ons based on how many goals he scored. And he scored like over 30 goals last season for Galatasaray. And it also includes a 10% selling clause in case a Saudi club come in 2-3 years time and buy him from Galatasaray for like 100 million, because that's probably where his next career move is headed at this rate. So incredible money. Turkish clubs are just abundantly rich right now, very cash rich. It's interesting why they have so much money to splash. But I guess with Galatasaray's reputation, the fan base, Champions League football regularly, it makes sense why they probably could have satisfied this type of term, right? It's absolutely crazy right now. It's a shame that Osimhen's not continuing at a top 5 level, but I don't know, I kind of respect the fact that maybe he stood to his guns. And I think just realistically, listen, many Prem clubs showed interest, but no one could satisfy or afford the terms. They can't afford the transfer fee. He has 1 year left. There's too much money. And I think a lot of Prem clubs, or maybe a pattern I'm noticing right now, is that most big clubs are refusing to satisfy player demands of contract lengths of like 250,000 plus. I don't even think Florian Wirtz signed a deal that big. It does seem like clubs are trying to take back a bit of control now in terms of the wages they're dishing out, the money that's getting extracted and going to agents or parents or back deals, etc., etc. Maybe it does make a bit of sense that there has to be a bit of balance now. But outside of Madrid offering crazy money to superstar players, not many clubs are in the business of paying above the odds right now. But again, opportunities are opening up, right? Turkish clubs have secured many lucrative deals now with private investors from like the Middle East and from Asia. And of course, there's a lot of flexibility from the Turkish Federation when it comes to allowing flexibility on wages, transfer fees, etc., etc. Plus TV rights deals growing. Listen, in the Turkish league now, it's an emerging league. And yeah, they've got money to splash and money to blow right now. So my friends, what's your thoughts on Osimhen finally securing his future now at Galatasaray? Share your thoughts and your opinions. But now, let's discuss one of the big stories this evening. And we talk Marcus Rashford, as Rashford now is set to sign for Barcelona. He won, and credit to him. I thought he ended the season in spectacular fashion with Aston Villa. He was patient, he held out for Barcelona. He was willing to take a pay cut to make this move happen. Luck fell his way in terms of other deals collapsing for Barcelona, especially Nico Williams' failed move in the end. But Barca have secured their man right now. And as Romano reveals, Barca will pay around 40 million gross as salary coverage plus bonuses linked to appearances. Marcus took a 15% pay cut. Reports yesterday revealed that maybe it could be around how much? Around 25% cut. But that's not the case. I think 15% cut probably makes the most sense. And there is an option to buy included at around 30 million euros, around 25 million pounds. So I think this is a pretty fair move. I think Rashford at 27, he's at his peak years right now. I think we'd have felt reinvigorated after how he ended the season under Aston Villa. It's what attracted many clubs to trying to sign him from Man United this summer. Not being a Man United fan, it's kind of crazy that someone like Rashford, who's played like over 400 games for Man United, can kind of just be out the door, especially when Amorim does use inside forwards. United have so many interesting players: Sancho, Anthony, Rashford. At any other club, they all cooked last season for sure. But for some reason, it's forever been the environment at Man United. It's not conducive to players' success. That is the reality towards things. Of course, Rashford's on 325,000 a week. Crazy money, of course. That's around like nearly 20 million gross. So 40 million gross is still like a big pay cut. But I think for Rashford right now, slapping things at Barcelona, competing against Rafinha, having that ability where you might play up front at times, might play on the left flank, but for a Barca team that will take advantage of your ability to play on the transition, advantage of your pace, put you in more 1v1 moments against the opposition. And a league like La Liga, which prioritizes technical proficiency, Rashford will probably become a better player at Barcelona. Most players at Barca, even if they don't make it there, they end up leaving and they end up becoming better, well-rounded players. So this is an incredible career move for Rashford. Credit to this guy, to be fair with you. I've got nothing against him. And this is the perfect move that could maybe push him forward now in terms of securing that left wing spot under Tuchel at the World Cup next summer. You know, England have some strong options. Rashford, Morgan Rogers, Noni Madueke. Yeah, the amount of talent we have is absolutely crazy right now. But we have to see what happens. But I think this is a move that satisfies all parties. And I'm really curious to see what he does and how he plays. And obviously, when Barca play against Real Madrid, that battle of Rashford versus Alexander-Arnold is going to be a really interesting one to see, right? So that is Marcus Rashford now securing a move to Barcelona. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think he'll cook, or do you feel like, I don't know. I don't know what you could be feeling, to be fair with you. I think this is a good move, you guys. Anyway, let's end things now with the final story. And we talk Viktor Gyokeres, because today it was revealed that Man United might have made a cheeky 11th hour offer to try and entice Gyokeres to sign for them. Yeah, big news, crazy reports at the moment. Arsenal now are just waiting to get this deal wrapped up. Gyokeres wants Arsenal. In the meantime, add-ons is what's slowing this deal down. Now, Lisbon have been very adamant this entire time, saying, you know what, we want around 80 mil euros for a sale. That is the money it's going to take. But currently, Arsenal have agreed, well, they're getting close to agreeing a deal. The fixed fee is around 63.5 million, and they're hoping add-ons of 8.6 million, which is going to be 10 mil euros, could be enough to get this deal through. That's still short of the 80 million euros that Sporting Lisbon want, but that fixed fee is 55 mil, 63.5 million up front, which was originally this guy's release clause. I think it's fair. I think, listen, Gyokeres, his family, I can completely understand why they're feeling a bit frustrated, a bit let down, a bit disappointed by how Sporting Lisbon have behaved. He's like one of the most decorated players in their recent times. This is a terrible message you're sending out to future players that Lisbon might decide to sign, because if you perform, if you got your release clause, it will mean nothing if the club change their minds and obviously try to get more for you. And that's not how these clubs operate. It don't work like that. But anyway, United's reports revealed that they were more inclined and more willing to try and meet that 70 mil valuation, which was really surprising in my opinion. You'd imagine that with Amorim's influence, because he was originally the biggest influence, right, in Gyokeres even signing for Lisbon to begin with, and he's really pushed on to being one of the most premium forwards now in Europe. You know, 97 goals in 102 games. I know that the coefficient, you know, when you're banging goals in Portugal is not quite the same as doing it in the Premier La Liga. But when you're kind of like overachieving goal scoring wise, right? It does kind of say more about your personal ability. And from things I've personally heard from a lot of guys I know who used to be like in academy setups, who are still friends with like, you know, ballers and pro players and stuff like that, Gyokeres was seen as that guy even during his time at Coventry City. And he was too good for the championship then. So he was being on this massive trajectory now for a minute. Anyway, United's naturally trying to do a Spurs, are trying to take advantage of the stalling in this move. And they revealed reports here from a builder in Portugal that an offer between 70 to 80 million euros, of course, was presented. But it doesn't seem like Gyokeres is going to take this at all. They're not on it. They want Arsenal. They're committed to Arsenal right now. And even though his father's been left in tears by the frustration around this move, there's belief that things are getting closer now to this deal getting wrapped up. Both parties will wait for each other to, you know, ensure that this deal is going to be sealed and is going to get wrapped up. So what are you guys thinking about Gyokeres? Right now, you guys, the Premier League is looking scary next season in terms of the depth of talent, clubs investing strategically, intelligently, ambitiously in the window. Massive marquee guys coming into the league, taking the level up even further. Many clubs now are past their foundation year or year one project. They're into their year two, year three. They're approaching like end game projects right now. It's going to be even fiercer in terms of competition. And Arsenal securing one of the top European strikers alongside the big business they've been doing for Noni and Zubimendi and co. Yeah, it's an insane time in the Premier League right now, you guys. So that's pretty much all the news. They're the big stories. That is the recap today. I hope you guys enjoy things. I hope you guys enjoy things enough to subscribe and hit that like button, of course, and expect to see regular uploads daily on FTN News.